Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Collegiate Call of Duty League of My Hold Shift. With me today, Cruz and Spaz, as we'll be tackling the opening portions of week number 3. A big week. You're about halfway through our first split here, Cruz and Spaz, and well, we'll go over the schedule here in a moment, but really the big takeaway is all the teams that you're going to see here on this mainstream have something to fight for if they want to try to make it into that top cut by the end of the first split.
Yeah, absolutely. Both these teams coming into this match 0-4, so they definitely are going to start needing to get some wins underneath their belts if they want to be able to make this top half of the split going into our second split.
Yeah, it's very, very important. Just we've talked largely about the format in the first couple of weeks. Both of these teams, although they, like you mentioned, may not have a win right now, this is actually not a terrible situation as it may seem because the rest of the schedule that we'll kind of talk about for these teams and specifically here in a moment is actually still pretty darn winnable. But to go over what we have for the entirety of the day, to kick things off for match number 1, we've got South Dakota State Jackrabbits playing up against the Northwestern Missouri State Bearcats. Interesting if you just put both of those animals playing up against one another, would see what happened there. But then the second stream where Visions will be jumping on with Camber, it'll be the Southern Illinois Edwardsville Black team going up against the Illini Blue team, which that Illini Blue team still 4-0, by the way, having themselves a really good start to the year. And then coming back on, we'll be joined with Arizona going up against the Oregon Green squad, that one out in the Pacific region. And that's going to be a good one because you were actually commenting on it. A little bit interesting to see the top 25 this last week, where Arizona still finds themselves on the top 25, just 3-1, but Oregon does not at 4-0.
Nope, they're not there. I mean, I think that match is going to be a heater of a match. Both
Yeah.
those teams look really good. One of the teams is like their search or their hard point. They have 100-point clubbed 5 out of their 6 matches. So I mean, I'm really excited to see the hard point in that match, especially.
It'll be a really fun one to watch, but we got to get through this first one before we can obviously get to the third one. So for South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, this is a team that has been obviously going through it a little bit. They've only won a single map so far, just 0-4. But you take a look at some of the hard points that they've played some pretty okay hard point. Specifically, when they're playing up against Nebraska in their opening weekend, a couple of tight moments where they were unfortunately did of course fall short, but that is where their one map win existed, was versus that Nebraska team where they were able to take the raid hard point 250 to 218. Now from there on out, obviously, they played Iowa, they played University of Northern Iowa Gold. No wins there, no map wins there. But the really interesting in my mind here, Cruz Pass, is the schedule that they have coming up for the rest of their split here, because they've got Northwest Missouri State coming up first. Then they've got Laurentian Blue, which is a winnable game. South Dakota Coyotes, their B team, winnable game. St. Ambrose, winnable game. Ottawa Black, probably not a winnable game.
Yeah, Ottawa Black definitely going to be a tougher one for them. I mean, like you said, it should be really interesting because they do really have to win out from here on if they want to try to make it in. And I mean, just to kind of piggyback off your point, you were talking about their hard point, and I was looking through their KDs before the start of this, really kind of struggling in a lot of other modes, but hard point looks like the one bright spot for this team
Yeah.
for the most part.
So we'll see if they can bring that together, especially because that raid hard point is coming up first. And I misspoke. I said Laurentian Blue. It's actually Lakeland University Blue. I get them confused because they're both LU. But then on the other side of the field, we're going to have the Northwestern Missouri State Bearcats. Similar situations here as they've largely have played the same squads. Tight matches versus Nebraska. That was where they found their one map win so far this season. Not really an opportunity to get things going, obviously, versus Ottawa Black, because who has had the opportunity to get anything going versus Ottawa Black so far this year? And then against Iowa, another tight one, even though it was a 3-0 loss for them. And they also played the University of Northern Iowa Gold. Again, these are not easy opening schedules for either of these two teams that largely, again, you take a look at what their schedules are coming up. They very well could be in a position to maybe be one of those last teams to actually get themselves into that top cut, because you look at their overall, what's happening in the North Central. This is a Division A matchup. You've got Ottawa Black, UNI Gold, both 4-0. Nebraska, surprisingly, still 4-0. Good for the Cornhuskers out there. But then you've got Bethany College that's out there. The Bethany Blue team is 3-1. Iowa's 3-1. But I would say largely there is still maybe an opportunity to sneak in pending that Bethany and Iowa team do lose some matches throughout. But largely what we've said here, Cruz and Spaz, is the fact that both these teams, if they want to have a chance at making that top cut, they have to essentially win out their rest of their schedule. And that obviously starts right here with this first matchup.
Yeah, and I mean one thing that I'm really looking to with Northwest Missouri is I think the player Sonny is really gonna be their spot where he needs to turn up. He's been very weak looking towards like all their KDs and stuff like that. He's been probably the weakest player for them so far. His search KD is at a 0.33 right now. He really is gonna need to pick it up if they want to start winning up some of the matches here.
Search and Destroy can definitely be one of those modes that eludes you if you don't get a lot of time rehearsal on it. But taking a look as far as what our map set will provide for us for this best of 5, you can see it right up top there. A double dose of Raid to get us kicked off for both the Hardpoint and the Search and Destroy. We'll go to Garrison for the Control. And then if we get to the 4th and the 5th, which this one seems like it very well may, we've got Crossroads for the Hardpoint, which I would say is one of the more forgiving Hardpoint maps that we have currently in the rotation. And then we would close things out if needed on a map 5, Moscow, Search and Destroy. So, pardon me, it's actually checkmate for our map 4, not Crossroads. A little bit of a mistake up there at the top. But regardless of that fact, Raid first and foremost for both of our first 2 maps here. We said that both of these teams, this is actually where they've largely showcased a lot of their good hardpoint prowess, at least thus far, even though there hasn't been much good to speak of for both of these teams. So a big first map here if we want to try to get this much needed win for either of these 2 squads.
Yeah, and I mean, Raid's a big one. You're definitely going to need to be able to control your P2 to P3 rotations. If you can string those 2 hills together, you can definitely build up an 80 to 80 plus point lead if you can really put them together. And once you get down to those 2, it's just really trying to get as much time as you can on the scrappy hills as well as setting up early for the important big money hills.
I feel like a lot of at this level, kind of as we start to get into this one, I definitely encourage the audience at large just to kind of turn your attention to some of the base mechanics as far as understanding the rotations and the spawns and how they work. But we'll jump on in. Again, South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits in the blue and yellow, and then in the white and green, Northwest Missouri State, the Bearcats. And Alzi's first one up, Craig shot's not going to be good enough, and there's a Bulldog onto the board, as this was actually something that we kind of heard a lot of the other casters before. We've seen a lot of this Northwest Missouri State team, and that Bulldog is the expectation for Boosty, and he makes it look pretty darn good, I won't lie.
Yeah, he's been playing well. I remember week 1, we saw him pull out the Bullfrog, and we were very surprised to see that. Right now, it just looks like we're just taking a little bit of a battle, going towards middle map right now. Gabby going to win a big gunfight towards the bottom half. And right now, it looks like the Jackrabbits going to be set up for these P2 spawns. So Bearcats are going to have to start trying to make their way on through and really just try to flip these out if they want to get some early time here.
That first hit really unsuccessful through the middle of the map, so the second attempt has to be over towards the hard point. Relatively even on the scoreboard so far, not just in the total cumulative score between both of our squads, but also the KD department. Disarray will come on through, find himself an elimination. That will actually win the scrap time of P1 as Northwestern Missouri State also find themselves spawning top laundry. So an opportunity maybe to get around the back of P2, and it's Halsey who's trying to deal with this. Awkward gunfight, but Boosty still takes it in tow, and that will mean that P1 to P2 successful rotation so far for the Bearcats.
Yeah, that was big. They got shut down their first rotation there, and then fortunately for them, able to break on through, push and get in through that first hill, and then now they're able to move on over. They got P2 ready to go, and it looks like right now they're going to have a pretty good hold going down here. Everybody on the side of those Jackrabbits going to have to be pushing through the small choke points, and it's going to be tough for them.
Boosty good, hit 4 in a row, will eventually be dealt with as now the hit from that South Dakota State comes from the front, but it's Cushy, gets himself 2, Gavi stuck literally in a corner, and that will be enough to take him down. So the Bearcats do hold, and this is actually really nice overall. I mean, you've got yourself about a 25-point lead. You're able to clean up the scrap time, and while you've gotten that good clean attempt to kind of foil the break, you're already moving across towards P3. It's going to force the Jackrabbits to spawn behind, but the gunfight's on the rotation. Not great for Northwestern Missouri State. So now all of a sudden, South Dakota looking to get themselves into this P3 garage and start to generate some score.
Yeah, Gabi and Housey just picked up 2 huge kills down towards these garages to really just force these spawn outs, because they had 2 players spawn at the old hill, and they were able to push on through, win their 2 gunfights, and then actually 2 gunfights go on mid-map as well. So big gunfight wins there for them as they were able to hold on to these. And now Gabi's going to have to go big once again as he's feeling the pressure here in the middle of the garage. Going to be able to deal with the damage, though, and once again, them forcing the fights through the bottom right side of this minimap.
Couldn't quite get the 5th kill, though, so now it's on the Linguini. I don't know why, but I feel like I need to put a little bit of Italian pizzazz on his name. I had some Linguini last night for the team. And he's able to find 5 and 7, but it will be good enough for Northwestern Missouri State to lock down this scrap time. So after a pretty solid rotation, to be all things considered, from 2 to 3, they're able to break on into that hard point at the back end to lock down the scrap time. And for the Jackrabbits now focusing over towards the next rotation, you've got Boosty in the back trying to play for spawns. Jackrabbits players, again, a little bit scattered, trying to how they want to work their way through the backside of jungle, but there will eventually be numbers. Boosty in a bit of trouble, and Dog and Caro able to find a couple of kills, and that will flip the spawns around. Now it just comes down to, can South Dakota State find the break? The numbers are looking pretty darn convincing. Could he for one? Give him not necessarily a full second, but he assisted, and the Bearcats will retain.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. They needed to hold on to that time for the most part there, but now you got the Bearcats once again set up. They're pushing through jungle, and at the end of it all, it looks like Disarray gonna be the final player there to pick up the gunfights. But oh my god, the Jackrabbits gonna spawn in from behind. So now they're gonna have a 3v1 on the hill, and that's gonna be an easy cleanup for them.
Opportunity for a pinch, though. Gobby trying to get his regen into play. Gets caught from behind. Boosty from the front, able to find himself another kill. Just down to Halsey inside the basketball area, and well, the gym teacher has been whistled out of play there as Boosty's able to find the kill. So Linguini, the Encaro D11. I don't know why they're all Italian all of a sudden, but they're finding themselves right on top of P5. And one of the big keys that we look for is, can you control that outer ring area to watch over the top of this? The answer will be no, as Cushy finds the first and second kill. Now all of a sudden the Bearcats looking to break on through, but Linguini does find one elimination. Not going to make too much of a difference in the end, because Disarray, he cakes down 3 on the break attempt. And again, Northwest Missouri State right back into the hard point.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'm starting to really find with the South Dakota, they're having a lot of trouble holding on to these hills. They're rotating early, they're getting set up, and they're just getting broke so easily. Even when they're breaking back, it just seems like it's so easy for the Bearcats to push on in and get these breaks back for them. And I mean, they're going to really have to hold on to start getting better holds on these hills if they want to pick up the win in this game.
Well, at least for now, scrap 20 seconds being contested. Linguini and Halsey doing a pretty solid job. Boosty, Bullfrog, 15 and 11, finds his second kill this life. He will contest and break through the scrap time. And that's scrap time that, honestly speaking, South Dakota State would have loved to have had. But all of a sudden, now you've got to find your way over and lock down this rotation to get to P1. Gobby, the first player in for the Jackrabbits. Tight gunfight, able to win it. Down to 90 HP, stays alive. One more contestant nearby is Boosty. He finds the first kill, but he's going to need to find more than that. The shot punch. BK Boosty for 4 in a row. Wants Linguini for the 5th. Not going to find it, but he's done enough damage to allow Disarray to find the trade. And in the end of it, even though Northwest Missouri State had themselves a spawn by laundry, it is South Dakota State in the hard point for now.
Yeah, this is about to be an absolute bloodbath on the hill. 4 players for the side of the Jackrabbits sitting in the hill. Going to be contested in by the players from Bearcats coming on in. They're going to be able to pick up 2, so it's just going to be a 2v2 now for the remainder of this scrap time, and it's going to be a win for Boosty and Cushy as Bearcats are going to be able to clear this up. And now we start to look again towards this rotation, towards this P2 hill. And we got to see the Bearcats do it last time. They sat down on this P1 hill, got the scrap time, and were able to push through and get the flip out, and we'll see if they're able to do it again here.
Massive rotation in the play. Jackrabbits desperately need to hold this initial time. Bearcats try to move not just from the front, but also from the players in the back. Linguini, good for 1, try to keep his life. Able to do so successfully. 18 health is more than enough for him. Semtex, he'll be able to avoid it, but as he tries to exit to safety, he finds himself actually exiting into more danger. Disarray's found himself a couple 5 in a row this life. He's 22 and 14, leading the lobby. BK Boosie just behind him at 19 and 16, and one of the main reasons why the Bearcats are enjoying a 75-point lead.
Yeah, the Bearcats are, like I said earlier, they're just doing such a great job of breaking on each of these hills, winning the trades out. There's BK Boosty again, picking up the final kill, picking up the trades again, and this is going to be at least another 10-15 seconds. Going the way of the Jackrabbits before the side of the, going the way of the Bearcats before the Jackrabbits are even able to push back on into this hill. And now they're going to have to push on over and try to just get over towards this next hill once again. Not sure why we're leaving the hard point there. This is just very tough here for the Jackrabbits, as they're just not holding on to the hills when they're set up. This is really make or break for them here. They really have to hold on to this hill if they want to get back into this game.
Well, they are still spawning out behind P2, so these last 2 players, the Jackrabbits, need to hold on. Caro tried to find a second gunfight, but will be taken down, and the Bearcats, I think the one thing we could largely say here, Cruz, is the simple fact that they have been good, timing this exit from 2 to 3, allowing them an opportunity to see this initial time in the garage.
Yeah, I mean, their rotations have definitely been a little bit better in terms of being able to at least win the gunfights on rotation, right? So it's just, it's really, really tough when you're facing a team which is not only outslaying you, but when you're rotating early and you're not winning the gunfights on those rotations. It's just gonna be so tough to be able to win these. And now you got to try to push on into this hill. Bearcats can still win on this hill, so they're going to have to get a break here. Jackrabbits can't just give this up. And I mean, it already looks like the side of Bearcats are already thinking about getting ready to push on over towards that next hill. They're going to get something now, so not going to be able to win on this hill. And it's at this point, it's such a big break. All they're going to need is really just one break on the next hill, and it's going to be over.
And the Bearcats, they've been really good when they've gone from right to left of the map, whether it's P2 or P4, just kind of split hitting, 2 from the front, 2 from the back, and they've got streaks to also play with. Carl literally holding on to whatever he can find to try to exist through these streaks that are coming through, and he is successful, avoids the cruise missile. Needs to turn his attention to the back. It's who's going to be the first one up. Nice shots there for 3 in a row. But now the artillery strike, and that's exactly what you're worried about. Is as soon as you get these streaks into play, you find a way to potentially open up space. But to be fair, the Jackrabbits are really holding on, clawing their way back through to this one. I mean, it's still going to have to be 120 straight points for them, which is not likely if you don't take by Arkander. But regardless, this has been good to exist through these score streaks and give themselves a chance to make the scoreline more respectable.
Yeah, too bad they weren't able to hold like this through the first set of rotations.
True.
Now you're going to get the Bearcats on in this hill. This is going to be a 2v1, and that should be the game right there. Going for the side of the Bearcats. Honestly, they just played that better. They rotated a lot better in terms of being able to win the gunfights. They broke a lot better than the Jackrabbits were able to break. And once they got set up, it was very hard for the Jackrabbits to break on in and get inside that hill.
I would say a lot of it is just timings, right? I mean, it's the scrap. I like to sit there and say this. I don't know if you feel the same way or you feel differently, Jesse. I like to look at the hard points in segments of 20 seconds. You've got your initial 20 seconds, you've got your contested 20 seconds, and you've got your scrap 20 seconds. And depending on how the hard point is going in that first 40, that back 20 decision making is actually probably one of the more key things that you need to look for when you're going across the map. Like you mentioned, from 2 to 3, and again from 3 to 4. And largely, Northwestern Missouri State did a really nice job of getting that spawn manipulation that we're looking for, where that last 20 seconds, we're able to completely wipe out the break attempt. Let's push through that engagement, force them to spawn behind us, pick up the back, win that rotation to the next hard point.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, they were able to pick up not only the last 20 seconds of almost all the hills, but just get such fast breaks to the point where they're contesting the first 20, able to get at least the second 20, and then, as you said, the third 20, the last bit there of each hill, they were just able to push on in and get the last of it and just really hold on. It's honestly really good hard point out of them, and something that I'm really happy to see. Hopefully they can keep it up.
Well, taking a look now as we transition over to the conversation point of the raid, search, and destroy. This has been by far the biggest weakness for both of our teams really throughout. I mean, there are some things we could say about control, but the search and destroy largely haven't been too many close games to go back through their history and note of, with the only exception being, and this is good news if you're a Jackrabbits fan, South Dakota State, when they were playing up against Bethany Blue, they actually went to a round 11 on Moscow search and destroy. But before that, 2 6-0 losses, both to UNI and as well to Iowa, and then a 6-2 loss to Nebraska. Not great stuff there through and through. So search and destroy, what are the kind of keys that you're looking for as we go into this next matchup? Because let's be honest, South Dakota State, you kind of need to win this map if you want to try to stay in this series.
Yeah, I was about to say South Dakota State, you're definitely going to need to be able to pick this up. Sunny, again, going to have to really, or sorry, not Sunny, the side of South Dakota State, they seem like they are a little bit stronger of a search and destroy team right now when we look at both team stats. So this is absolutely a must win for them if we want to see them go further into this game. And I think really what I want to see from them is just those really important mid-round adjustments, really getting control of mid-map on raid so they can choose whether or not they want to go towards the A site or towards the B site. And just really, if you get a man advantage, play the man advantage outright so you're making sure you're picking up these rounds that you shouldn't win.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair point. And I just think largely as we get further and further into the CDL year, you're going to start to see, I think, a lot of what are the default set strategies as far as how are you laying out your defense? How are we trying to offensively execute? It's totally fine to just kind of look at those and say, copy paste. Let's put that right into our gameplay. Let's get the main AR over here. Let's get the SMGs doing this. Easy playbook reads. Just go ahead and steal what you see from the teams that are above you. And to be fair, it's actually really interesting. And I don't know how you feel about this. This is more of a personal opinion more than anything else. We've seen a lot of Miami search and destroy on the top echelons of North American Call of Duty this year, which has been very strange, I think, considering no smokes, no snipers on a very open and large map.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I think Miami is probably one of the best search and destroy maps in this game. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but like, I don't know. I hated it in the beta, especially because how dark the map was. But once they lighten that map up, it's kind of beautiful, man. I like Miami. So if we end up seeing a Miami today, I believe in our last match, it's our map 5. So if we end up getting there, I'm not gonna complain.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm still in the ballpark of I had a bad first time, and that's been what it's been riding through for me the entire time. Was I played like a Miami domination? It's like, man, this map, dude, get me out of here. I hate everything about
How I
it.
feel
But
about checkmate. Oh my god, I cannot play. League play. You see checkmate come up, I'm out of there. I can't.
oh gosh, okay, you're one of those guys. Just control deletes his game as soon as he sees a checkmate. All right, note to
Oh.
self: don't queue up with Cruise and Spaz because I get a lot of checkmate, and I've tried to muscle my way through it. But let's get into this one. It will be the Bearcats on the offense first. Nice opening nades, actually, clearing out this side staircase behind the laundry. Housey will find one, but in the end, the trade looking pretty favorable for Northwestern Missouri State. Okay, Disarray. Let's go ahead and disrespect some bodies while you're at it, apparently.
Yeah, gonna be on with Gabi now, left alone here, 1 versus 3. This is gonna be really tough for him. And it looks like Disarray gonna be getting that bomb down at B. This is basically an unwinnable situation here once you get this player up in top laundry. And bomb is down. This is gonna be very tough for him. I'm sure he's about to get spotted out here very shortly and then cleaned up. He might just try to play around, play with his life a little bit here. But yeah, like I said, it's just gonna be really, really tough.
I had an opportunity to find Oi Luis. Is that his name? Oi Luis? Leus? Oi Leus? I know Oi like in like Spanish.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to cast you, man. This is just gonna be me laughing the entire time.
Welcome to Casting with Shift Crews. There's the first time for everything, and I like to say first time, best time, brother.
I will say Disarray really did a good job opening up that first round. If I try to get a little bit of analyst and work done in here, he was able to pick up 3 there. So good round out of him there to really open things up for the Bearcats. And we said Bearcats are going to need to come out strong here in search, and they're doing a better job here.
So now it's going to be the Jackrabbits. Looks to be a premeditated A hit here as Gabi with the bomb will start to make his way that way. Housey will now meet him, but it's Caro down low. He actually tries to make an aggressive play over through B. Gets cut down by a number of Bearcat players. But this does open up some space here. Linguini needs to win this battle in the middle of the map. Will not be able to, so we go 2v4 in the post plant.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he pushed so far up into B when you have your player with a free plant over at A. Pretty much just through his life away. It's going to be a 2v4 on the hill, but Housey able to pick up the first one there, so it's going to be a nice little 2v3 here. He hears the glass break above him, so he's going to try to make the push in through the back. His teammate Gabi is going to fall. Going to be left now in a 1 versus 3. Able to pick up the first, picks up the second. Oh, not able to get the third. Disarray with some more disrespect on his name, coming in with the body shots. That's a tough round, but Disarray now on 5, so getting close to those streaks with this bomb plant coming in too.
With the defuse, he's going to be really close, and this is one of those things that, let's be honest, there hasn't been a lot of conversation. Obviously, last year there were no score shrieks, so that was completely nixed from our vernacular throughout the entirety of Modern Warfare. But this year, the playing for streaks feels largely different than even when we last had it in Black Ops 4, because you've got the multiplayer, or not the multiplayer, the multiplier that kind of enhances it. So each kill, once you get past 4 or 5, that's when everything starts to really kind of build for you. You're looking for kill number 6 largely here. And I'm just curious to see if Disarray is going to pick up the bomb and try to play for the objective to try to help get towards those streaks.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same thing. Yeah, so he does grab the bomb here, so he's going to be the player who's going to try to make it over, get this down. But I'm interested to see if he gets really aggressive. Find his teammates here. I'm trying to bait for him because even if we lose this round, just having streaks towards the later half of this game is going to be so big. He's going to be able to shot up and he's going to be able to find the first kill. So if he gets the bomb plant down here, I believe he's going to have streaks, but he might get challenged from his right here. Going to challenge out actually this player mid. And he's able to pick up the kill on Linguini, as you say. And
Linguini.
Nice little round win from there. So that's 6 in a row now he's on. Or actually 7, right? So 7 in a row.
Should have been 7, yeah.
Yeah, so doesn't get the plant though. So I'm not sure if he picked up the streaks on that last one, but he was really, really close, I would imagine.
You know, the easy way to fabricate an Italian accent is you have to take one of your hands, pinch your index and middle fingers with your thumb, turn it so your palm is up in the air, and you linguine, and you just kind of shake it a little bit. It helps.
I got you. Right.
All right.
A linguine. Better?
It's already better. Already better. 7 in a row, though, for Disarray. And now a 3-0 start for the Bearcats. And it just comes down to here for South Dakota State. You need to recognize that these streaks are in play. You need to try to find a way to get this back. You know, you cannot go down 4-0 here. You need to find a way to get this round, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, and the tough part is even if he does get this bomb down, it's going to be such an easy clear out for the side of this Brain Bearcats. Is he's going to have both streaks now, I'm assuming, after getting that 9th kill. Finally going to drop, though, as Koro going to be able to pick up the kill up top. But he's going to fall very shortly after. So streak's not even coming into play yet. But they are up 4-0 now. Now all they got to do is really get a bomb down, let him sit in the back of the map. And really, even if they do fall down to man advantage towards these later rounds, it's just he can just drop streaks and really just play time.
Look, this is some stark confidence coming out of a Northwest Missouri State Bearcats team right now. Yes, a lot of it's coming from Disarray, but the entire team is really showcasing a lot of confidence. You go
They're
back
playing
to our
really well.
conversation. Yeah, for the hard point, they were, again, back 20 seconds. They win one good gunfight. Everybody started to push across. The knowledge seems to be there. So
Yeah.
I think it just comes down to, again, maybe they just played the hardest teams in their division to start, because what we're seeing right here is not at all what you would figure from a team that's only won one map so far in their CCL debut.
Not at all, especially with the rotations that we're starting to see out of them as well. Like, they're doing a great job of just pushing in. Disarray going to drop the streaks, open up that B site now as well. But it looks like we're going to have a 2 versus 2 as a kill comes in there as well. So Housie doing a great job of evening this out, but it's going to be Disarray and Cushy now pushing up towards this B site, and they should have a free plant here as both players from the Jackrabbits sitting over at A. And once this bomb goes down, they're going to have to make this rotation over quite quickly.
Disarray doesn't actually see the information on both Jackrabbits players, and he's actually going to call in the artillery strike. That might find one, depending on how it's placed near Tiki. No, it will completely miss, but it does create some space. The bomb will be planted, and now we're in a post-plant situation for the Bearcats. Cushy opening gunfight versus Housie, both exchanging a little bit of damage. Nothing going to require much of an overchow from either player at the moment. Stun will come through, Semtex to follow, but the Jackrabbits are now rotating through the middle of the map. Putting the pressure on the Disarray. He's sitting bottom side art. Sees Linguini from behind. There's the chow. Easy first kill. Reach the second. Housie tag. Disarray for both. The Bearcats up 5-0.
I mean, if they didn't win that round, I would have been a lot more upset about the streak use. But, I mean, you can't really be mad at it when they're up 4-0 and then they pick up the 5th round still off just pure gun skill. They just must be feeling super confident in this matchup right now to be able to use streaks, not really get nothing out of both of them, and then just continue this on here.
Yeah.
Here we go now, heading in towards, I guess, map point now for the side of the Bearcats. And, I mean, they've looked really, really good. It's hard to say that they haven't. Disarray sitting at 12-1, really been a bright spot for their team here. And really the side of the Jackrabbits, they got to start picking up some kills.
Yeah, 3 total kills between 3 players. Not exactly what you would call a positive stat line. Boosty looking to get aggressive. Here's that confidence, able to deal with the trophy system. Double chow coming through. Linguini does well, though, to find one. Boosty could not take the secondary challenge, so he'll just find the trade and back away. Caro down low, gonna find himself another, and Housie's also found another elimination. So, well, I hate to say that it's all just down to Disarray, and he could be equal to this task, but it's a 1v3, and it's gonna have to be a post-plant situation that he needs to break down.
And he's got a QBT in hand. I've not seen this gun very often in competitive yet, but maybe he's making his way in. Oh my god, he almost found the shots on a Housie there. Not able to do it. So, I mean, Jackrabbit's able to pick up one, but I think that was just also a little bit of ego coming in from the side of the Bearcats. They're just sprinting through the map. Hopefully they continue like that and we get out of this map pretty quickly here for them. But, I mean, you never know. Egos can definitely do something to your team and your confidence.
All it takes is one good bounce back. I mean, let's be honest, outside of Disarray, you take a look at the 4-3, 1-3, 4-5. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's been good enough, but you take away, what, 6 of those kills from Disarray, that would still be an incredible stat line for him, but there's winnable rounds in front of you, but maybe not. Disarray's able to take down Linguini, top side, over by the cutout window. Gabi and Housie now responsible for watching over this A site and watching over it. Are they indeed? Caro good for one. Housie takes the Ego Chow, will be taken down, but similarly so, Disarray drops. We've got ourselves a 2v2.
Oh, this flank could be huge here from Coro. If he can push on in here and notice that there's a player up top, he can absolutely get in behind him and try to get the flank kill in here. And it looks like he's just gonna sneakily walk up in behind. But this might work out even better for him, as he might be able to spot both players down in front of him here. Definitely gonna spot the player on the bomb now. Spot those both players, gonna take the shots in, and he's not gonna be able to find any. Oh, this is just the stuff that you don't like to see. And the bomb gets down. He was a little bit too patient there.
Well, he still does find the 1 kill onto Leus. Cushy now has to find a 1v2, and Caro up top takes care of it. So hold on a second here, Jesse. We've got ourselves 2 rounds in a row for the Jackrabbits.
Oh,
this rate only finds one in the round, and that's all that matters, apparently. You take him out, you've got an opportunity to win the round.
It just seems like they are making it so much harder on themselves, though. It like really needs to be. Like, Coro's able to find the first one there, but like, man, he could have gotten a 2-piece so much earlier in that round and finished it off. And he chose to play it patient. I guess it works out for them, but like, man, you got to think. It's just like, it just seems like these little situations, they're making it just so much harder on themselves than it really has to be.
Well, we'll see if they can try to make things just a touch easier. 3 in a row. Opportunity maybe for Coro to work towards streaks. I mean, that's ambitious to say. I feel a little dirty even trying to speak that into existence.
Hey, I mean, if they want to wholesale it, they might have to.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you need some tools here potentially. Opening shots through the van, not going to be good for the first kill. It's Boosty from the mid-side pillars to find first blood on a Housey. And again, this was not necessarily a bomb push into B, just kind of that early aggression. We saw this a couple of rounds ago, and I think we were both kind of left scratching our heads on why. And as they still read the pressure through mid-map, the Jackrabbits really need to isolate this pick before they can really aggress any further past Art.
Yeah, and they choose to try to get a little bit more aggressive, and it's not really going to work out for them. Boosty going to have to back up here as he's going to get tagged up heavily from Zig. But, I mean, both players are going to have to sit together, and they're going to have to do before this to keep the game alive, because it is still map point for the side of the Bearcats here. And it looks like all of them going to get that pack-a-dog mentality in now. As Hoyle's going to push in through the back, going to be able to find the first. Teammate's going to clean up the second, and that's going to be the game for the Bearcats. 6-2 win.
Very convincing stuff. Yeah, very convincing stuff. Well, I mean, again, largely from Disarray, right? Like,
yeah, definitely on the back at Disarray for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if we said his name enough there, Cruises Pass.
What,
I think we just
Disarray?
need to say it a couple more. Yeah, was his name Disarray? Did it have a couple of Y's at the end? I don't remember.
I think his name might be Disarray, starting with a D and ending with a Y. Yeah.
Perfect. And make sure you capitalize that D. Put some respect on my boy's proper name. But yeah, 250, 139, 6-2 through both of our raids so far. Before we cut the break, just got to get your thoughts initially on either recapping either of those two maps or what you're kind of looking forward to the Garrison Control coming up.
I mean, so just looking at it, the only map heading into this game that the Bearcats won was a control map. So
it's fair.
Jackrabbits yet to win one. They're, I don't know. It's not looking good.
Well, it's going to have to. We'll take a small reprieve and maybe one that is going to be needed here for South Dakota State if they need to find a way to get a reverse sweep. We already mentioned this is a must-win map for both these teams sitting at 0-4 in their conference. I wasn't sure if I wanted to say conference, division, or region because I'll be honest, I don't know which is which. But we're going to throw things to a break for right now. We'll come back. It'll be Garrison Control right after this.
The roller coaster of a season that I had last year is pretty crazy. Obviously being on one of the best teams in the world, going on to win a world championship, and then the following day getting cut from the roster. It was chaos, a volcano of emotions. I was super happy about winning, but I felt, obviously couldn't enjoy it just because I had to find a new team and deal with all that. So it was a bit up and down and a bit disheartening for me to put my all into something and accomplish that goal and then really feel like I got set back, even though I did everything that was asked of me, performed as much as I could, won the world title. So it definitely was a disheartening moment, but it's been the story of my career. So just got to bounce back stronger, got to have some resiliency, and got to come back with that chip on my shoulder. So that's what I'm going to do this year. Of course.
Hello there, friends. Welcome back. And currently, we're dealing with a pretty lopsided affair. Again, both of our teams 0-4 overall. Both teams only individually toting a single map win thus far. But you wouldn't know it by watching this Northwestern Missouri State Bearcats team so far. 250-139 win on the raid hardpoint, and then a 6-2 win on the raid search and destroy. So, Cruz's Spaz, it's going to have to be a reverse sweep here for SDSU and the Jackrabbits. Again, this is a rivalry matchup between both of these two squads. And well, right now, that rivalry is looking very one-sided.
It's if this is a rivalry, it's definitely Bearcats who are on top right now. But I mean, a couple of things for the Jackrabbits. If they are gonna want to claw back into this match, they're gonna have to take it round by round here in this control. Really have to come out on top on their defenses, especially on Garrison. Garrison is so defensive heavy. I mean, I think we're seeing a little bit more of offensive wins now, more so than we were earlier in the year. I guess teams are starting to figure out how to play it a little bit more. But if they are really going to have to pull this game out, they're going to have to be strong in their defenses, get the side of the Bearcats in that back spawn trap, and I mean, just really try to control the map.
Well, one of the large things that we said in the early stages about Garrison control was that A zone is so difficult to get to offensively, but you wouldn't know it by watching the CDL this last weekend.
No, they were in that and out of that so fast all weekend long.
I mean, it was a brand new look, I'll tell you that much. Nice stick
what
right there. Linguini, little Hail Mary, able to find a kill top green. That should be pressure here for Jackrabbits to start moving their way forward, but boy, Leus from the side over by Square, able to take down two Jackrabbits players trying to get forward, but it's supposed to be Kara who stays alive, and that'll be a first tick of progress.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in you. You didn't say Linguini with a
Linguini.
But looking forward now, it looks like they are going to get shut down after that first push. Now Bearcats trying to put a little bit of pressure on the spawn of the side of the Jackrabbits here, and it's going to be Boosty again with this Bullfrog in hand, just trying to watch over this plat area, looking into tools, not really being able to find anything though. So it's just waiting basically for this other team to come off spawn. They're going to be able to pick up a couple kills, and now he's going to get even more aggressive into the spawn of the side of the Jackrabbits.
Yeah, I love this. He's just kind of changing his position, keeping the Jackrabbits guessing, finding himself 5 kills this life, 5-1. Only 7 shots. Probably going to need to think about reloading that, but wanted to chase down Housing to be unsuccessful. And meanwhile, the Jackrabbits are actually going to find a little bit of space here as Gobby has artificially created it, to be fair. 3 kills this life, 3-1, and a lot of it was a solo mission. But he's, again, without help, and 23 seconds left on the clock means that he's going to have to do more special things. Semtex trying to clear a little bit of space, moves on over into the front side of life, but is taken down. Now it's on to Caro to try to work his way forward. Will be unsuccessful. The Bearcats able to hold strong defensively, and with only 13 seconds up to play, Jackrabbits need to find a way to dash their way through Disarray, who continues to stay pretty hot, but Linguini will get here and stall the clock at 6 seconds.
Yeah, that was a really pinstripe kill feed there, which Bearcats just ended up coming out on top. And this time, not even going to be the case, as they're going to be able to drop all 4 there to finish off the round. I mean, that's going to look really good, too, if they end up going to a round 5 here, which, I mean, we might. It is Garrison control, so if we go to a round 5, they're pretty dominant there in terms of lives.
It's just one of those things, you know, as we have watched the differences, not only in the CCL, the Challengers division, but also in the Call of Duty League, especially with this last weekend coming and going, a lot of the problems that kind of occur when it comes to offense on this map are largely, at least from the CCL perspective, solved by how much mid-map pressure can you establish, which seems like such an easy thing to say, but it's a 1-lane map. You control that topside bridge. You're able to keep top green, that comms building, largely cleared from the offensive side. Your opportunity to get onto that B zone and then transition to A becomes much more easy. Now, the thing about that, how do you achieve it? Largely comes through being able to win a dominating SFG battle up front. Yeah, and so far, we have not really seen that from the Jackrabbits.
No, we haven't. And I mean, the other thing with A is it really feels like once you get one big wipe at A, and you stack that hill, it becomes a lot easier to be able to get the tick because of how fast it moves up after the update that came out earlier in the year. But I mean, Bearcats so far off to a pretty good start here, as they're going to be able to 2-stack on the hill, get the first tick of progress in. But like you were talking about, that top green control, it is going to be Gabby up there for now, because she's just trying to take some shots down range. Him and Disarray going to be able to team up and find a couple more. So looks like the side of Bearcats so far so good. They should be able to get this B tick. At this point, if you're the Jackrabbits, you kind of just have to chalk this and push in towards the A site and really just try to get a good hold set up for there.
I wonder what goes through the mind of a player who gets a kill onto Boosty and then picks up his Bullfrog. And it says, wait, what? I mean, I'm not trying to hate on it because I'm a big proponent of use it as you're comfortable with. You know, meta be damned. If you're not finding kills with the quote-unquote meta weapons, use the weapons that you do feel good with. Housie, trying to clear tires, does get dealt with. Disarray, able to find one. Oileus, able to find another. And now all of a sudden, the Bearcats, they've opened up passageway to the A zone.
Yeah, and here we go. That's what I was talking about. You get this player out top left, or sorry, bottom left on your mini map, and he's just going to be the player. It is Boosty right now, who's just trying to basically slay out up here, but you have a 3-stack on the hill already. Gabi's going to have to get in there as fast as possible. He's going to be able to find one. Finds the second as well, but not able to find the third, but it doesn't matter because you got a 3-stack, you got 2.5 ticks so quickly. The third player, once he got that kill, it was just able to clean it up and get the last tick in.
And good focus on the objective of the Bearcats. You know, it's one of those things that both of these teams, you know, just kind of looking at the statistics, not great at what we've seen in control. Outside of Jackrabbits, they went round 5 checkmate control versus Bethany, where they would eventually lose their third and final map. But on the other side, for the Bearcats, considering the fact that they have largely been beat up, with the only exception being versus Nebraska, where they had a 3-0 on the raid control, this is, again, showcasing that maybe some of those rounds are much closer than the score would lead you to believe, because that's good understanding of how the map is functioning. Disarray is 10-6, but look at the effort that we're seeing out of Oi and Boosty. 11-4, 11-5, respectively. And Cushy's just happy to be here right now with only 9 engagements at 3-6.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be a case of one team really just playing the really good teams off the rip and just playing them, getting better and learning from those really good teams, and now they're using it to their own advantage here against a team like the Jackrabbits, and they are playing really well today. So it could be maybe a poor side for the Jackrabbits, but it could also be really good play coming from them. Makabi gonna be able to do some work here over at the ace side, but still has no help from his teammates. He's finally gonna end up falling. It's gonna be a one-on-one for the hill. Carl gonna fall as well. So Boosty, good job with that bullfrog, man. Able to pick up another 2 there and really just stop that push on A. Now
Disarray will be the first line of defense here, just hiding in this corner. He's on 4 in a row. Potential, if you can be a nuisance here, to get not just 5, not just 6, but an opportunity for streaks. Tries to get out of dodge. Good help from his teammates will allow him to escape. Now a trophy system will make life extra difficult for the Jackrabbits when it comes to trying to clear this front middle portion of the map. All those members in white pushing forward. Here comes the hit from the Jackrabbits, trying to get out of the spawn trap. Disarray on 5 will not find 6. And just like that, the Jackrabbits have opened up some space with a handful of kills in a row. An unfortunate team kill, but it will not really result in too much because there's the full wipe. Housie is on the site, and that will start to be progress here on the A zone.
They're going to have to be able to pick this up. Carl able to pick up that big kill on Nakushi, who is inside light, so they're going to hop on this, get a 3-stack in, but the pinch coming in for the Bearcats up top. Housie not able to find the second kill on a whole use there, and it's just going to be Carl again inside this hill. Luckily for him, Gabby up top was able to find the kill on the Disarray. Not something you've been able to hear very often in this series, and it's going to be point B. There you go for Jackrabbits. This is progress, at least. They're better than last offensive round, that's for sure.
And they're only down a life. So now you've got 1 minute and 13 seconds to try to finesse this clock. Caro, he jumps on. Didn't see the player initially, but the second opportunity will find Boosty just sitting on top of that railing. Won't make too much of a difference, though, as far as the influence onto this A zone, as the Bearcats still do have numbers to preside over it. Long hit from the Jackrabbits coming around the back. It's Gabi trying to get to the spawn field. He'll find 1 for free. This comes down to, can he track down more? Boosty inside a cobble. Gabi taken down low, able to get out with his life. And the longer he can finesse, the better it is for his teammates. Nearly gets the second kill. Will be turned aside. Lingui, and he's only good for 1. An unfortunate self-name there from Carl means that Housie is the only attempter to try to get onto this A zone, and he gets cut down after the trade comes through.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks like lives are pretty even right now still. Only down 2 still for the side of the Jackrabbits. But I think what this is really going to come down to, it's their ability to slay, and it just really hasn't been here this whole series. And to get onto this A point, you really have to be able to at least get a wipe to start getting the tick on in. And that's going to be another 2 kills going for the side of the Bearcats. Housie trying to push on through this top green, but again, it's just another solo push coming in from Willis. With only 17 seconds left and them spawning out so far, this is looking really tough for them to be able to pick up this round.
Yeah, Boosty clearing up the only real avenue to try to get to A quickly. Not a lot of time here for the side of the Jackrabbits, and they will not be allowed to get to the A zone. So how about the Northwestern Missouri State Bearcats? A 3-0 here on the Garrett. All 2 good defensive rounds, but I won't lie. I think the most impressive part of this map for me here, Jesse, was that offensive round. They looked so darn good in it.
They did. That offensive round honestly looked cleaner than both of their defenses did, which is kind of the scary part. So if this team starts playing some of those other bottom teams, they might be able to find
Yeah.
themselves in that 5th spot and pushing themselves towards the top half of the for the second split. Only problem when you hit that is you're gonna have to play those top teams again that they've already played and
Right.
struggled against. So definitely
Tough
should be
scenes.
interesting. Yeah.
I mean, the thing about it as well, you look at what's coming up here, because after this 3-0, again, just to recap it quickly for you, the 250 to 139, very good, convincing performance on the rotation, especially from Northwestern Missouri State. 6-2 in the search where disarray just completely took over, and then the 3-0 there in the Garrison control. But again, the whole process that we're looking at right now is when split one comes to the end, will you find yourself in the top cut or the bottom cut? And with a loss to Nebraska, a loss to Ottawa Black, a loss to Iowa, and then the loss to Northern Iowa. That's 4 of the current top 5 teams in their Division A of the North Central region. But they play Bethany College Blue coming up, which is a team that is currently right now in the top 5. They've got Lakeland University, who's in the bottom 5, and USD Coyotes B team, also in the bottom 5, and St. Ambrose, also currently in the bottom 5. So, mathematically, you just win out the rest of this split for you. You're going to be that number 5 team just because Bethany is the only team that's currently above you. So unless you get some help from other teams when it comes to beating teams like Iowa and Nebraska, that's the only other opportunity that's in front of you. But this is great news for Northwest Missouri State because you control your own destiny. Win out and against these other teams that are also in the bottom currently, you find yourself as that number 5 team in the top cut.
Yeah, and I mean they looked really good today. So if they can keep up this
Yep.
performance going on, they absolutely have a chance. And kind of to touch back on the point that I was saying with it being a little bit tougher once they go up in towards that second split if they do end up making it in there. Not yes, it's going to be tougher for them, but they will be playing the better teams and getting the better practice as well. So unless they start chalking the season, once they hit towards those playoff qualifiers too, because assuming they finish towards the bottom half, if they are able to get in towards those qualifiers and they're playing those top teams, that's just better practice for them,
Right.
and might give them a better chance of being able to qualify out of those 64 teams in the playoffs.
Indeed the case. A lot of seasons still yet to be played, but hopeful things here for Northwestern Missouri State after the 3-0. We're going to step away. I mean, a quick one here, and then when we come back, it'll be Visions and Camber taking you guys through the action with Southern Illinois Edwardsville Black going up against the still unbeaten Illini Blue squad out of the University of Illinois at Champaign-Urbana. We'll be back for the third match, but until then, we'll see you guys right back here on this channel. Don't go too far. We've got match number 2 coming up after this.